game the other day against Pine Bluff and start putting in the game plan for our game against Oklahoma on Thursday. This tournament is a great opportunity to learn a lot about ourselves right now and play three very good quality opponents. Always been a fan of Porter Mosier with what he does on both sides of the ball, and be a great first test. Going up against that team with great length, great physicality. Sherfield is a very good point guard. Does a great job with the ball, getting them into their offense, and a guy that can really score it from all three levels. So, looking forward to the challenge, and hopefully play well for 3 games.
What's your reaction with Doc joining Porter's staff?
Yeah, I'm excited for him. Doc is a guy that I've been with for a long time, going back to my days at Iowa State, and be good to catch up with him, and also with Clayton Custer, who's on that staff as well. Clayton played for me at Iowa State for a couple years before he transferred to play for Porter at Loyola, where he led that team to a Final Four. So, really happy for Clayton as well, and it'll be good to catch up with those guys.
What jumps out about Oklahoma? I know they've had some close games. You had a mutual opponent in Arkansas, Pine Bluff. I guess what are the challenges that they present?
Yeah, the thing that stands out the most is their size, and they're 6'10" at the 4-5 with the Groves brothers, and then 6'7", 6'8" at the 3, and their guards have good size as well. So it's going to be very important to go out and do a good job on the glass. They're going to pose more of a St. John's type length from a length standpoint, a physicality standpoint. So we have to hit first when that ball goes up. And, besides the St. John's game, we've done a pretty solid job, for the most part, but we still at times are letting, our opponent hit us first and make first contact. So it's going to be very important in this game. We have to try to limit second chance opportunities and just do a good job. They really do a phenomenal job with their back cutting. They're a great cutting team. Have to try to take away the rim, take away the paint, and force them into a half-court game.
Has Blaze's been sort of what you'd hope for through the first few games?
Yes, Blaze, he was obviously phenomenal for us in that second half. I just thought everything that he did, he imposed his will. He got every rebound and did a phenomenal job of spacing the floor. We had a pretty good formula with Sam in the post. And then I thought Blaze was key to losing himself under the backboard with his heels on the baseline. Did a great job circling to the front of the rim, where he was, the benefactor of some really good plays by Griesel in the post. But I thought our cutting was good. But with Blaze, we need that physical body. And this tournament, we're going to play 3 high major teams. We're going to have that physicality in the paint. Wilhelm, I thought, gave us really good minutes in that first half as well. Just update on Derek. He continues to be day to day with his medical condition. He's getting closer, and hopefully we'll get him back, before too long. But, Blaze has done a great job filling the gap. Derek does a lot of things for this team, and I think we were most exposed in St. John's, where, Derek's our pressure release, and he can flash up, make a play for himself or for others. So we've missed that. But Blaze and Wilhelm have done a really good job of filling that void.
Even when Derek returns, have you found something with Sam there in the post that you can continue to use even when he's back?
Yeah, absolutely. Sam is a guy that we just ran a little misdirection handoff into a post up on the block, and we've done had some possessions over the course of the early part of the season where Sam may back down. And the other thing about it, he's done a great job absorbing contact and getting himself to the free throw line. So, when the game slows down, which a lot of times it does, especially in the second half, under 10 minutes to go, we feel good about getting the ball in Sam's hands, not only to score it on the block, but also be a playmaker down there.
Juwan talked about playing in this tournament before. How big can that experience of him, Sam, any of those guys be in a weekend where you've got 3 and 4 days?
Yeah, I think most of our guys have experienced some form of what we will experience this week, whether it is a multi-team event early in the year like this, or playing in a conference tournament at the end of the year where you can play multiple games. And Sam has a lot of experience with that, playing in the championship game the last couple years at North Dakota State. But Juwan, playing in this event, CJ's played multi-team event. We've got several guys that have done it, and it's different. I mean, especially at this time of the year as teams continue to work their way into top shape and get that conditioning level where it needs to be. you need a deep bench, and we feel good about, a lot of guys have gotten experience for us early in the season, and, we feel good about our group going in, playing a lot of games in a short amount of time.
Hey, with free throws, not just making them, but you guys have done a pretty good job of getting to the line, and defensively you've been really good at defending without fouling. How critical is that in these types of neutral site games where the free throw line can be a big X factor?
Yeah, it was important. I thought the second half we had great physicality on the defensive end, but we did it without fouling. I believe we had 6 fouls the entire game in 40 minutes, and that is a point of emphasis, that we talk about all the time, is not giving a team free points at the line. On the other end, it was good to see us finally start converting in the second half. I look back at that St. John's game. We missed our first 5, I believe, including a 1-and-1 in that stretch. That should have been a double-digit lead at halftime, and then maybe it's a different outcome, or at least we're fighting for a win as opposed to what happened. Same thing the other night. We missed some early ones that could have pushed that lead up to 12 or 15 or 20 points, and then maybe you don't have that run, that gives the opponent the lead. So, it was good to see. I think we were 12 to 16 in the second half. Need to build on that. We'll continue to work on it and hopefully convert those.
Back to Sam for a second. What's the line between being smart about picking your spots and knowing when to go to the rim and look for your shot, and just being aggressive early, like trying to take control of the game early on? Because he's been pretty patient, I think would be the word.
Yeah, I think, Sam, the biggest thing with Greasel, he's so unselfish, and he's always getting into the paint, trying to make the right play. He does, we need him to be aggressive. We do need him to score it. He's a very good finisher once he gets to the paint. But playmaking, that's what Sam's all about. And, what he talked about on his visit, I don't care how many shots I get, I just want to win. I want to make the right plays. And I think for the most part he's done that. It was good to see him. We needed him aggressive in that second half. And, again, he made the right play time and time again. And, very easily could have had double-digit assists in that game had we not missed a couple of those easy ones that he created for his teammates. But, been really pleased with Sam. He has not taken a lot of threes. He continues to work at it in practice, and I'm confident he'll have a game where he makes multiple threes to get his confidence level up, where he'll be off and running.
Take a couple more.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
This part.
Huskers are at home this weekend, Wisconsin on Friday, and Minnesota on Saturday.
I think this weekend has a chance to be some great volleyball, very intense. We've been working since January to get to this point where we'd have this opportunity to compete for a Big Ten championship. So teams worked hard, our staff's worked really hard, and we're just got to go for it. Be fun for our fans.
Can you talk to your team at all about that the Big Ten title is within their hands this weekend, depending on
They know. These are college students, so they're smart. So we don't talk about that, but it's something we've been talking about since January. We don't hammer it every day, but it's there. They know what's on the line. The only thing we talked about is when we lost to Ohio State. I just told them our goals are still there. We control our destiny.
In the coaches meeting, was it discussed like last January to try to get this big weekend where the top teams are playing at the end of the season?
No, that's all Big Ten, and Big Ten TV came up with that. And that's one of the reasons they take so long to get out the schedule, because I think they're trying to figure out how to do all this and try to make it a big weekend. Because I think last year when we played Wisconsin, it was for the Big Ten was on the line, and I think it broke the record for most viewers watching the match. So I think they're trying to simulate that. Thanksgiving weekend's a good weekend to do it, and we don't have to compete with the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Do you like how the season sets up with your two big matches to end in Week 10?
I think it's great for the conference. I mean, look at the matches that are going to be played, and it's just not our little quad, but you got and those guys are playing at Ohio State. Then you've got Illinois, Northwestern, Michigan. These guys are all playing matches to get in the tournament. I mean, they're trying to get in the tournament. So I mean, there's just huge matches all across the whole Big Ten. It's going to be a pretty drama-filled weekend for a lot of teams. That's what it's what you want it to come down to that.
Are you surprised at all to see Ohio State lose back-to-back, or does that kind of minimize how tough this conference is?
Yeah, but like I said, it's hard to be good every night. Since great teams can do it, great programs can do it. It's something I'm really proud of. We bring it every night. We don't play our best every night, but we bring it every night, and we compete every night. And it's very easy to get. There's a lot of good teams in this conference. So it's something we hammered, and I think it's just part of our program. We've done a nice job of that.
John, you say your players know what's at stake on Friday the entire week. But how do you expect them to handle it on Friday? You're getting ready for that match, knowing everything that's on the line.
Yeah, my job is to make sure they view it as just it's another match. It's match 19, week 10. So, they know these are, we've talked about as the season goes on, it gets later in the season, the points get bigger and bigger. There's more on the line. You want to be in the poker game, you got to throw in more chips. So all the chips are on the table. So they know that. Gambling is legal in Nebraska now, so I can talk about that.
You haven't played back-to-back nights in 2 months. I mean, how do you prepare for that this week?
No different than a Friday, Sunday. It's just, on a Friday, Sunday you have a day in between, but sometimes we're traveling that day, so this will be, we'll be right in our groove on this.
Anything planned for senior night on Saturday night?
Just our normal after the match and talk about the seniors. So our normal thing, which is always very special, and our people do a great job, and I think it's our fans stay for it. So it's pretty special night that honors Nebraska Volleyball and our seniors.
What about the senior? I mean, you got 2 seniors who their 5th year, and then 2 have been 4 years. What have they meant to the program 4 or 5 years, or 1 year?
Well, they've been the face of the program for the last couple of years here, especially this year. And those guys have played probably, and you have to look back, they probably played in every match since they've been here. Maddie and Kinsey and Nicklin. I mean, so that's a pretty major contribution to Nebraska Volleyball and our success. And we've had a lot of great wins, and these guys need a ring, whether it's a Big Ten ring or a national championship ring. That's kind of the one thing that they've have still on the table that they got to go after.
John,
But they've, look at all the matches they've played in, and we've been to Final Fours, national championship matches. We been in position to win the Big Ten a couple times. So it's pretty amazing accomplishment for these seniors.
I know that you got to focus on the matches, but Big Ten champ is going to get top #1 seed, right? And Maddie talked about the importance of being in that top 4. Your guess, probably you're going to have 2 teams in the Big Ten get a top 4 seed. Would you imagine?
Don't ever guess with the NCAA. All I know is whoever wins the Big Ten certainly deserves it. So that's you want to win the Big Ten, and from there, who knows? Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, John.
thing supposed to be? Is it supposed to be working? Oh. All right, cool. All right.
Hey, Caleb, this is Coach Joseph led the team obviously for the last 2 months. Could be the last game where he's the head coach on Friday. I just wondered how you feel like he's done, just leading you guys after a difficult situation early in the season, and how he's been as a head coach.
Man, I feel like he's done, a good job, man. For him to be able to short notice without him knowing, being able to step in that role, I feel like that's a hard role to step in when it's your back is against the wall and you don't know. So, man, he's done a great job, man. He always had the right things to say to us in team meetings and stuff like that. So I feel like he's done a great job, man.
You mentioned when you came in, you tying the record for games played. I mean, you have to be kind of proud of that and sticking with the course and being a part of history, I guess, there.
Oh yeah, man. I would try to be a loyal dude, man. I'm a loyal dude, man. So and I love this place, man. So it's like a no-brainer. I just play, you feel me? I just play every game. Try not to miss games. Like I ain't even know it was a record for that. I ain't even like so. And until this point, I didn't know I done played 56 games. I didn't even feel like I done played 56 games. So.
How many injuries have you played through that never stopped you from playing a game? How many have there been, and what have some of those been over the years? Not necessarily right now, but over the years.
Injuries, man. Shoot, when I first got here, I had 2 shoulder surgeries back to back, my freshman year and my sophomore year. And that's really been it, really. Except for nicks and dings and stuff like that. But yeah, man. Every Saturday, man, you gonna see me. So.
Is that luck, or is it something you actively work on, staying healthy?
Man, I don't know. I think it's my body. Like, I don't even try to slide. I don't even like going into the training room like that. So, I don't know if I'm just a freak or what, but, like, it's just, I don't get hurt for real. Or I know, like, how to practice. I know the practice tempo so I don't get hurt, stuff like that. I know how to, I'm a foot, so. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that question, boss.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You said you fell in love with this place. What in particular led to that?
Man, the love that I got from the fans, man. The love that the state brings, man. You see college games these days, and you see have full stadiums and stuff like that after losses, man. We done state the course, and the fans done state the course, man. I can't do nothing but respect and love that, man. And, shoot, Nebraska hasn't done nothing but been good to me, so.
Do you really appreciate that?
What do you hope that people and fans will remember when you watch it?
Man, somebody just asked me that outside, man. I didn't know how to answer it, but what do I hope they remember me for, man? Shoot, I just hope, cause they really don't. I was gonna say like, I just hope they know I'm a good teammate, but they can't really tell that cause they not my teammates, so they can't even tell that. So I feel like that's a locker room thing, but I just feel like, shoot, fans, I hope they just seen how hard I played and worked, or really whatever they want to feel. To be honest, it's cool with me. But boss, I really don't know. I got love for them. That's all I know. So whether the love is back or not, I'm with it.
Caleb, you understand the rivalry with Iowa and the losing streak you guys have had against them as much as anyone. What does this game mean for you and the seniors for your last crack at these guys?
Man, yeah, this is a good chance for us to leave this place with on a good note. And yeah, like you said, man, I haven't beat Iowa since I've been here. So it'll be a great opportunity to do that. And yeah, man, get these young boys, the young cats coming up, something to remember, how it felt to win, what it's supposed to be like and stuff like that. So hopefully we can go out there and execute at a high level, man, so we can keep that ball rolling. And Yeah.
Sure, you'll be rooting for him when you're not a Husker. But what do you think of that young nucleus that's sort of developing? That's going to be the future that you're kind of passing the baton to.
Man, I'm excited, man. That's what I'm saying. Like I told somebody outside, man. These fans got a lot to look forward to, man. It's gonna be big things coming, man. And I'm ready to see it. I know they're gonna be excited when they see it. Yeah, it's like you said, man. It's just a nucleus, and that thing just growing. It's like a tumor, really. It's a good tumor, though. Not a bad tumor. It's like a good tumor, and it's growing. And one day this thing just gonna explode, man. When they explode, man, this place gonna be rocking, man. I'm just ready for it, and I'm gonna be happy for them. So.
Anything else for Caleb?
You, the fact that you can ruin Iowa's chances to win the Big Ten West, that play into another layer into Friday.
The fact that we can ruin their chances, man. Yeah. We want to ruin their chances, man. So, shoot, yeah. I mean, that's what we here for. We here to, we not here. Nah, man. Yeah, we here to ruin their chances, man. We here to ruin their chances, man. If you want to put it like, we here to ruin their chances, man. We here to win. That's what we here to do. So, what that comes with after that, I don't know. You say it ruin their chances if we win, so I guess we ruin their chances when we win. So.
Anything else? Okay.
Man, appreciate y'all all year, man.
Hi, how y'all doing this morning? I want to just say happy Thanksgiving to everybody in this room and everybody through the state of Nebraska and all the Cornhusker fans across the country. I want to say congratulations to all the high schools that made it to the state games. Had a nice crowd, it was a busy stadium today. Well, we got one mission left, one game. And I expect and I know our boys to come out and give full effort this last game. A lot of pride. Last game playing with some of their brothers. So I expect them to come out and play tough and be resilient through the whole game. Questions?
Is there anything about Iowa's offense, its run game, that's different from the last 4 games that you've played that you see that'll be different, or is this basically a similar team to the last 4 that you've played?
This is similar. I think this side of the conference is similar. I think that you're going to see big linemen. You're going to see they're going to run the ball and manage the clock and play good defense.
What jumps out to you about what makes that defense so effective over several years? Really, they just strive it and all that.
Well, if you look at their defense, if you look at the starting 22, there's not one transfer in there. So they all been raised through the program. What I've been saying in these press conferences, you got to keep them in a program. That coach has kept them in a program. So those kids been in the system 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and they hadn't changed their system. So that's why it makes a good defense, because they don't make mistakes. They line up right, and they don't bust coverages. They don't miss gaps. They don't make mistakes.
Have you been able to, talking about keeping guys in the program, you're trying to prepare for games, but have you been able to try to recruit the roster somewhat through conversation, or how is that a difficult thing to do in season? Or
not right now, not till this picture clears up a little bit. You know, one thing I'm going to be able to control is getting this team ready to play for Iowa. Now after Iowa, then we got to, some decisions going to have to be made. But right now, I'm just going to control what I can control.
What is the plan for that? Like after the game, then what?
I'm going to be on my couch until I get a phone call. Okay? I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be on my couch. I mean, I'm going to coach them up until Friday. Then Saturday, I'm going to spend all day with the family. Then Sunday, I'll probably come in here and get some things done. But until I hear anything, everybody's going to kind of just take some time away.
What has the last 2.5 months just meant to you to have the opportunity to be the head coach?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what have you learned about yourself? What's maybe been the most enjoyable thing, the hardest thing, those things?
Well, just the most enjoyable thing is the kids and the coaches, and just the joy of coming back to Lincoln, coming back to the University of Nebraska, and having this opportunity to lead this program. And I think the toughest thing is that we hadn't been able to get it done and finish the way I wanted with wins. That's been the toughest thing. But I wouldn't trade these memories for anything right now. I'm sure the kids feel the same way right now, because we really connected.
What are 1 or 2 or 3 things you learned through this process? Is there anything in particular?
I learned to stay off of Twitter. That's the first thing you learn. Okay. Second, I learned, that you have to adapt to the conference, and your team's got to kind of look like the team that you play every week, and you have to surround yourself with people that understand or see it through your eyes and see it from the balcony and not the basement. You understand what I'm saying? It's not hard, but just learning things like that and learning the ups and downs of a head coach. Everybody say when your head coach is lonely. Well, I really don't get lonely, because everybody's tugging at you. So you really don't get lonely. You're lonely because you want to be lonely. And I'm not that type of person. And I was able to do it my way. I was able to keep it real. Not one time did I say, next question to you guys. Not that I'm being respectful to you guys. So, and that's the way I was raised, and that's where I've always been. So I really enjoyed this.
Why do you stay off Twitter?
Because some of these dudes on Twitter, they should worry about their own jobs. Not my job. Not my job, because they're not going to make any decisions. But it's funny, some of the things they say, and it was best that when I took over, everybody said, stay off of Twitter. That's my brother Vance told me the first thing, hey, shut social media down, stay off it. And I don't think he ever had it. So it was cool.
Mickey, talking about just doing things your own way, I mean, how do you think you set foundation for this program going forward, if you do think?
Well, I think they're better now than when I found them. I think they're a better team. They're a more confident team. They hadn't gotten the wins, but I think they're better people right now. I think they can see the growth in themselves, and I can see the growth in them. And I think that they know that you can build something here. They know we're a couple of pieces away because we don't play some close games, and when we come back on Sunday, we identify what happened. So we know we're a couple of pieces away that we need to get up in here to help us get over that hump.
What was your level of concern with where the team was when you took it over on September 11th?
Well, just the overall attitude, and they want to. And so we attacked that, and attacked it that we're gonna do it together. And I think it was more of not them meeting me on my side of the table and not meeting on their side of the table, that we meet in the middle, because that's what men do. We meet in the middle, we agree to disagree. And I think they understood that. And I also think that I was easier to approach, that you were able to sit down with me and I was able to say, oh yeah, I was wrong with that. I shouldn't have did it that way. And I think they understand that, because like I say, you're dealing with the why generation. If you say, hey, knock down that wall, they're gonna ask why. And the only thing I ask you to do is what? Knock down that wall, So knock on the wall, knock down it, but they're gonna ask why. So you gotta have an answer for them. They're different, and they need to have your arm around them a lot, and I think they understand that I do care about them.
Would you say that you work well with Bush? Why is that part worked well? And why did you want him in that role?
Because we worked together at LSU, and I knew that we played good defense at LSU, and I know we didn't do a lot, but we were sound in the scheme wise what we were doing, and I know he would do the things that I wanted to do on defense, with the tight front and playing some zone coverage and mixing it up and sending some blitzes and and quiet down, sending heat, So I understood that. And the thing about me, Bush and I worked together for a couple of years, so we was able to share notes and compete against each other, and I know he was going to compete. And I know if I was wrong with something, that he was going to walk in my office and say, hey, I think we should do it this way. And if I say, no, we need to do it that way, then he would have jumped on board and did it. But he wouldn't let me just do, something that didn't make sense. And that's why I appreciate Bill Bush.
Mickey, updating from last week, have you had any conversations with Trev about your future here?
No, I think that's probably over the weekend or next week sometime.
You talked about kind of meeting in the middle with the players and being the Y generation. How much of that had to also occur between the coaching staff?
Well, it's the same thing with them. I let you coach your position. I'm not a guy that going to come in your position room and just take over. So you let them coach their position, and you watch their position. Then you evaluate them. But if you see something wrong, then you bring it to their attention. You don't beat them with the pen. So that's meeting in the middle.
Hey Mick, what does this rivalry mean to you, and how do you play with the boys that they have a real opportunity to go after and get a meaningful win here today?
Yeah, they can be the spoiler. Yeah, we talked about that. I think it's the next game, and I know it's a rival game, so I know they're going to be up for it. They're going to be up for it. They're going to come out and play in full force this game.
I know it hasn't gone how you've wanted up front, but what can you say, I guess, about Donovan Riley taking on kind of a tough assignment with some injuries that have popped up and stuff, and just as a younger coach in some respects working through this year?
I think Donnie's going to be okay. Donnie, it's football. It's going to have injuries, and you got to coach through it. But I thought Donnie's did a great job with that offensive line this year of piecing it together, because he's missing a couple of pieces. But I think those guys up front, they came out every practice and every game, and they gave everything that they had, and that's all you can ask.
I feel like you guys have done just from a penalty standpoint, and what's your general approach in limiting flags?
Well, you have the refs in practice, and you talk to them about it. If you think you see it, throw it, and you try to get your kids to not have pre-snap penalties. That's what hurt you. The pre-snap penalties hurt us. I mean, if it's a holding call, pass interference, that's an aggressive call. But the pre-snap penalties hold you, jumping off sides, lining up off sides, things of that sort.
Hey, Mickey, what are your feelings about the 10 guys on staff you've coached with all this season, and especially the way that they've operated over the past 2.5 months with the uncertainty that's existed?
They've been great. They've been given everything they had when they come into the office. I mean, I'm sure they got to, take care of business and make phone calls, but they've been very professional. throughout the time that I've taken over, and you really appreciate that from them.
How does Casey look?
Casey threw the ball better today. He was a little rusty last week, but today I thought he really threw the ball well today.
Have you had any conversations with Casey about his future at Nebraska, future in college football, or are you waiting until after?
No, we hadn't. The only thing Casey and I had talked about is him. He's going to graduate. He's going to get his master's in December, and I was congratulating him on that. But it's not going to be my decision about these kids' future. They're going to make the decision with their family. Casey comes from a strong family, family that understands the business, so they'll make the best decision. But Casey wants to stay here at University of Nebraska.
You were so instrumental in getting him here. Do you feel more connected with Casey than a lot of your other players you've had?
No, I feel connected with all of them. I just been knowing Casey a little longer, just like Trey. But I love all my players. I connect with all of them.
What would your message be to your players, about after the game, how they approach that?
Well, I think the message to them is like, let's sit back and wait and see until we hear anything. And once we hear something, then we'll act on it. But right now, everybody go get away and relax and clear your mind. And then if you get a phone call, show up.
Take one or two more. Hey, Mick, back to Iowa's defense. 31, Jack Campbell has been outstanding. What does he jump out on tape at you?
He does everything well. He plays the run well, plays the pass well. He gets them lined up. He's a really good football player. A really good football player.
Anything else, guys?
Hey, Mickey, Quentin just talked in the hallway about his growth as a leader over the course of the season. What have you seen from him in that area?
He was very quiet when I first arrived in December, but as the months went on, he's gotten better and more vocal as a leader. So I'm happy where Quentin's at right now.
Hey, Mick, I know you've prioritized strengthening relationships around the state in your time as interim coach in recruiting, and you can't comment on the individuals, but as these championship games are going and last night, the level of play that we saw on the field, what do you think about the importance for Nebraska to continue to do that in the future and prioritize those kinds of kids?
I think when you look at the kid and you know he's a no-brainer, don't dance around it and pull the trigger on him and keep him here and make sure that you keep all the good players here in the state of Nebraska.
All good.
Thank you.
Colton, Iowa has such an excellent defense, probably going to be a pretty low-scoring game. I mean, what does that say to you about the level you need to bring?
Yeah, obviously, they have really good defense. We're going to do our best on defense to, maybe get a score, put our offense in the best position possible, to score. So I think we've kind of prided ourselves on that, especially this week, knowing that their defense is really good, doing everything we can on our defense, to put our offense in position. So.
Is there anything in particular you most appreciate about the job your interim coach has done?
Yeah, I think Coach Joseph's done a really good job of building relationships with the players. From a personal perspective, he's really built a relationship with me. He's talking to me about games, what he liked me, what I did good, what I did bad, what I need to improve on, stuff like that. I think his leadership's been really good. He's got the team to really go behind him, everyone's playing for him, you know what I mean? So I think he's done a really good job at that.
Has this season encouraged you to think you want to do this again?
Yeah, this season's been great to me, obviously having a few injuries, being the real season that I've really played, started, all games so far. So I'm obviously going to have a big decision to make at the end of the season. Some of it will be dependent on who's here, coaches, and stuff like that. So I'll evaluate that after the season, but really focused on Iowa right now.
Has Coach Dawson given you feedback on, assuming he has, on how you played this year and what's he said and what's been your own self-assessment of how you played?
Yeah, I think me and Dawson have a really good relationship, He'll tell you how it is. And I think, as the seasons went on, I think my play has progressed as he does too. Obviously, not really starting any games before this season, kind of getting thrown in there, you know. So I think as the seasons went on, I've definitely progressed in my play. So obviously it'll be a big decision to make at the end of the season, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Colton, Iowa's offense, they do a lot of zone blocking. As a defensive lineman, interior guy, what's the trick against an offensive lineman?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, the last few weeks we've seen some gap scheme, you know, truck last week, power stuff like that, counter. This week's going to be a lot more, you know, zone scheme like you're saying. So, obviously the biggest thing when you're getting zone blocking is to knock the guy back and get off blocks. You know, if you don't knock him back, you're just stalemated, you know, he'll lock onto you, you can't get off blocks, you're not going to make any plays. So I think it's big when you're zone, you know, obviously inside zone, stretch, stuff like that. So you're big time getting off blocks.
Colton, what do you think of the idea of playing spoiler on Friday against them?
What's that again?
What do you think of the idea of being a spoiler?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, obviously, you know, they're playing for the Big Ten to get into the Big Ten championship. So I think obviously me being from Nebraska, me being here for 5 years and not beating them, that's a pretty big thing for me. So I'm looking forward to Friday, and I'm going to play as hard as I can. So,
Colton, how do you describe this Nebraska-Iowa? Some people call it a rivalry. I don't know what players would say about it.
Yeah, I think it's a huge game, obviously, you know, playing it on Friday, you know. How many games are on Friday? What are there, 5 games or whatever, you know. How many people in the world are watching, you know what I mean? So there's obviously going to be a lot of people watching this game, you know. So what we put on tape is what's going to define us, you know. Maybe things haven't went our way this season, but this game can mean a lot to us, you know. If we can throw their season off, you know, that's huge to us, especially with this rivalry. We're playing for a trophy, so.
You've been up close for a lot of these Iowa games. Was there a memory that comes to mind for you, just Nebraska-Iowa these last few years?
Yeah, you know, I think the walk-off, the kicker kicking that walk-off one year, I can't remember what year that was, but he was a little disrespectful to us, you know, so I think that kind of lights a little bit of a fire under us, you know, for the people who have been here, and it's our job as players who have been here to tell the transfers, you know, and stuff like that what this game means to us, so.
I was going to ask a little bit about what Evan was saying, but yeah, it's been a while since Nebraska's won against Iowa. Do you remember watching that game back in 2014?
I do not remember that, no. But yeah, that's a little bit too long for us, so hopefully this week we can get that done.
What emotion would you use to describe how you feel about what comes after that Iowa game? You guys are going to play the game, and I know the focus is there, but you guys have a different head coach, whether it's Mickey or it's somebody else. Like, what's the emotion that you have about what comes after?
Yeah, obviously there's going to be a lot of decisions made for each person. You know, every person's going to have to make a decision on what to do. And that's just kind of part of this business. This is a business very oriented by wins, you know. If you're winning, everything's perfect. When you're losing, everything's not. So each person will have their own, you know, talk with their family, talk with the new coach, you know, stuff like that. Personally, I'll look forward to that to make my decision. But, yeah, like you said, Iowa's what's at stake. And we'll have time after the season, you know, to digest all that stuff and get ready to go.
How often are you asked, who do you think the new coach is going to be?
Too much. You know, everyone thinks they know stuff. They want to know stuff. They don't know stuff. Yeah, a little too much. So.
Your family included. Does your family ask you that question?
Not really. I'm assuming they think that I would probably tell them if I knew who it was. So not so much family, but, you know, outside people trying to get the scoop on everything, you know. Yeah, classmates, friends, stuff like that. So I think it's a pretty common question that gets a little annoying.
What do you tell them?
I'm just like you. I have no clue, you know. All these rumors, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to tell them. Just tell them I don't know.
Anything else for Colton?
How do you guys get that one extra stop, that one extra first down to seal the game?
Yeah, I think that's something that actually Coach Bush, me and him were texting after the game, and he was saying, I wish I could have got us one more stop. And I think these coaches may take too much blame on themselves, you know. Obviously, we're the ones out on the field, you know. We're the ones that can make that one more stop, you know. So you never know when that play is going to be, when you need that stop. It could have been earlier in the game. Could have been later in the game on that drive, you know what I mean? So you just got to go out there and play hard every play and just try to hold them to as least amount of points as possible to ensure that, you know, we don't let them get that one more touchdown or that one more field goal. So.
Has that been driving you crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here for 5 years, and, you know, there's been a lot of close games in my time here. And that's something we haven't done a very good job of when I've been here, is closing games, getting that one extra first down, like you said, or that touchdown or that stop. So I think that's something that we need to figure out, you know, from a team perspective, player perspective, coach perspective, all that. So.
Anything else? All right, thank you, Colton. Volleyball players as well. So, questions?
What makes Iowa's defense effective when you watch them?
They're really sound and disciplined. They have good coaching on defense, and you know, just watch them. They really don't make a lot of mistakes. They're in the right position. They're really good tacklers, and they're very physical. I just feel like it's a very sound, typical Big Ten defense, but they're very good. Their total defense are number 3 in the country right now. They're averaging like 13.9 points a game they're giving up. So they do a good job on the defensive side of the ball. That obviously is credit to their coaches and their players. And I think just from watching them, they're very physical. They do a good job. They have a really good player and a Mike linebacker, Jack Campbell, I believe is his name. He's a standout player for them. But all of their defensive backs, they're usually sound, and they're really involved in the run game, and they do a good job tackling.
Casey, Colton was just asked this, kind of what keeps this team from getting over the top? What would your assessment of that be?
We talk a lot as a team. I try to remind the guys we have to do the things necessary to win the game throughout the week and throughout the whole offseason. And I would just say accumulation of just overall winning football. You know, you have to have a winning mindset. You have to have a winning culture. You have to have winning coaches and players in the building. And everyone has to be pulling on the same rope, and we have to do things right. At the end of the day, it comes down to elite preparation, elite coaching, and elite players, and then we have to execute on the field. And I just feel like that, you know, there's a lot of things that go into play and a lot of factors that go into it. But obviously, from the grand scheme of things, we've been a little bit off this year, and I know in the past, the last few years. So whatever the reason may be, I'm excited to see who's going to take over as the head coach. But obviously, that's they get paid a lot of the money to figure those things out. But just from being inside the program for the first year, I would say that we need to improve in our discipline. We need to improve in performing under pressure. I think we need to improve, obviously, as players across the board. And I think we need to improve and maybe having everyone pulling on the same rope inside the locker room. And I don't know, just a lot of different little things, and it all adds up to be big things. And you know, when you look at the scoreboard and we lose by 2 points, 3 points, or we lose by 1 possession, you know, you ask yourself, like, what could we have done better throughout the year, and what could we have done, and you know, as players, and what can we have done in our preparation? And I'm sure the coaches ask themselves the same things. You know, did I prepare well enough? Did I coach well enough? Did I recruit well enough? So I would say it just overall it comes down to having a winning culture, winning talent, and just a winning mindset. And I think that for whatever reason we've lacked a little bit of that this year. But I do know, since I've stepped foot in here in January to now, I've seen improvement in a lot of areas, and I always try to stay positive and just focus on the things that we can control, like our attitude and our effort. We're doing a good job of that. You know, last game of the season, week 12, we're still having great attitude, great effort, still having good practices, and a lot of buy-in in the locker room. So I'm really excited about this program and our future.
Would you like to be a coach one day?
I don't know. I think that I love the game of football. So if I was a player, I mean, obviously now as a player, I love it, everything that goes into it. I love to sit down watching the game, studying it. So from that side, I guess the X's and O's, yeah, I would love to be around the game as long as possible. But when I see what the coaches have to deal with sometimes, I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. So just dealing with the recruiting part, dealing with parents, you have to grade checks and making sure guys go and weigh in and just, I don't know, there's a lot that goes into it. So I'm not sure. I know I love the game of football. So I just think that if I continue to do my best and put my whole mind, body, spirit in the game of football, someday it'll give, some success back to me. And whether that's as a player or a coach, I don't know. We'll see someday.
What's the trait that Coach Joseph, Coach Mickey has that you'd like to borrow if you become a coach one day? What has impressed you the most?
His intensity, for sure. I'm usually a calm, even-keel person, but I don't know. I like his intensity. I like his leadership capabilities. And what I like about Mickey Joseph is his ability to hold people accountable, and he does it in the right way. He knows he's so relationship-driven that he knows how to approach each coach and each player and everybody inside the building, and I really like that about him. Even from watching him interact and talk to the team secretary all the way down to, maybe a scout team or walk-on player, I think he does a really good job of building relationships. And that's something that I've been taking note of. And a lot of people that I've heard just from being around the game of football, they say that Tom Brady's like that as well. He knows everybody's name in the building, and he builds relationships. So I feel like to be a good leader and to have people really believe in you, you have to be able to know each person and know their strengths and weaknesses. But I would just say his passion and his dedication to the game, walking by his office and seeing him 8 o'clock at night, and he's watching practice film, and he's watching offense and defense and special teams. He's not just, even though he's historically a receivers coach, but just seeing him pay that much attention to all three phases of the game and sitting down in his office. And I always think in my head, like, these coaches, they have wives and they have families too, and just to see them putting so much into the game and being dedicated like that, it always inspires me to do more as well.
Hey, Casey, along those lines about your future, you mentioned Saturday that you're getting your master's degree. What are you getting that in, and what was your degree from Texas in, and how do you think after football those might help shape what you want to do?
Yeah, I appreciate you for asking. A lot of people ask me about my academics. So I currently am in my 5th year, as you guys know. I just completed a 1-year master's program in applied science is the official name. What that means is, I just know when I got here, they asked me, what do you want to do after you get done with football? And I said, I want to build a training facility that focuses on the mind, body, and spirit. I want to have elite sports performance training. I want to have cardio in there. I want to have a daycare center and study rooms. And I want to be able to give back to the community, both men and women and kids and adults of all ages. So our family business plan is to someday build a sports facility, hopefully in Oklahoma, maybe in Texas and Nebraska as well. But that's what my plan is. I gave a 2-hour presentation to the graduate program yesterday. They gave me 4 out of 4 votes, so I finished my master's degree. I'll receive that in a few weeks. At the University of Texas, I graduated with a sport management major and a business minor. The hardest classes that I took in college by far was the business minor, the accounting, the finance, micro and macroeconomics, business law. Those classes were real hard. So, being able to get 2 degrees in college has been a dream of mine since I stepped foot in college. And when I was in high school, I finished, I graduated 3.5 years and enrolled early just so I could kind of set myself up to be, I knew if I was in college long enough, I would receive 2 degrees just because I was always ahead. And I don't know, my mom was big on academics. And when I was back in the 7th grade, we sat down with my 7th grade principal, and she said, put him in high school classes so he can get ahead in high school, so he can get ahead for college. So that's always something that I've kind of had a dream of mine.
Casey, you and Mickey are already really close, but how have you seen the relationship between you two grow since he took over as head coach?
I had a lot of respect for him before, and I have more respect for him now just because seeing him handle a lot of adversity. And our relationship has grown because, he was in the wide receivers coach position, and he was working with the receivers every day. And I would go by his office and check in with them, and he'd show me his national championship rings, and we talk about, recruits, and we talk about what I need to do with the receivers. And he's always pushing me to be a better person and a better player. But as he took over as the head coach, I've had more sit-down talks with him, and he checks on me a lot more than he used to, just because of the role and position that he's in. And he always talks about, in the state of Nebraska, it's the head coach, the quarterback, the athletic director, and the governor. And he said those are the most important positions and roles in the state. And he just always making sure that I have my head on straight and I'm doing things right. So I really appreciate him. And I would say since he's taken over as the head coach, we've had a lot more conversations and sit-down talks. And he just asked me like what the team is thinking, how I'm feeling. You know, he asked me how my body is, and he'll tell me, I want you to practice tomorrow, and I want you to take this many reps. And, you know, sometimes we, you know, have disagreements about, you know, how many reps I should take or not take. But in the end, I know it's all for the love of the game, and also I know that he loves me and he loves the rest of this team, so I really appreciate him.
You always want to take more reps than he wants you to?
I mean, like I said, somebody asked me today what I'm going to miss about not when the season's over with. I just love the game of football, so being able to strap up and lace my cleats up and go out there and just get the football in my hand and spin it, like there's no better feeling to me. So I love to throw and train 6 days, 7 days a week if I could, but I understand that the human body needs rest too. I've been very fortunate this season to have 2 bye weeks where I got to rest my arm and my body, and I didn't have to practice for those 14 days. And then the 2 weeks that I was out, you know, so that was an additional 2 weeks and 14 days. So this is the most rest I've ever had. So I know it's the last game of the season, and I know everybody's like, you know, might be tired and at this point. And I mean, I'm ready for more. You know, last week was my first game back, and I was just excited to be back playing again with my team. So I don't know, I love the game of football, and I love this team, and I'm always wanting more. So I'll be sad after this week's game. And, I mean, watching college football is cool, and watching it from my couch, but I mean, watching the playoffs and watching these other teams go to bowl games, it's definitely going to eat at me, and I'll be hungry to get back and play more football. So I'm excited for this matchup against Iowa. That's the only thing I'm trying to focus on right now. It'll feel good this weekend to kind of enjoy the weekend with my family and get some rest. But you know, if I'm not playing football, I love to study it. So I'll definitely miss strapping up with this team. And one thing that I told the team, the leadership council yesterday was, you know, no matter what happens after this game, this will be the last time that this actual team and this locker room is together. You know, every year there's new faces in the locker room, new faces in the building, whether it's new players and new coaches. So I'm really just trying to soak up this last couple of weeks with my team, and I'm trying to talk to as many guys as I can around the building just to see, hey, what you're playing after the season, and, you know, how are your grades, and, you know, how's your family and stuff like that, and just trying to, I guess, end it on a high note as much as I can, because I know I won't see a lot of these faces for sure. In December, we're all going to part our different ways, and everybody has finals and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to do a good job of soaking it all in, and at the same time preparing for Iowa. So I'm excited about the game, excited about the matchup, but it's going to be unfortunate when the season ends for sure. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Casey. Questions?
Chris, you get double-digit tackles. I mean, just how do you feel you played Saturday, and as you continue to grow week to week?
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, with the game and stuff like that, how it went. You know, you're not really. I'm not a stat guy. You know, at the end of the day, we didn't get the job done enough to win the game. So, you know, it's a tough loss for sure. But at the end of the day, like, the stats really don't matter at all. You know, I play for the team and what this program represents. So, I know I don't look into that at all. So, you know, it's kind of unfortunate for us.
Was there a certain period this season when you started feeling more comfortable, when it sort of, coaches talking about the light coming on, that moment like that?
I'd say it was just, I won't say it was a specific moment, I'd say. I would say just with the development piece of things, you know, just how the more time you got experience on the field, I'm put in some different situations, so you kind of feel more comfortable in those moments, and I'll be able to play your game.
What have teammates told you to expect about Iowa and the game and everything that goes into that?
Yeah, we just know what type of game it's going to be, a really physical, fought game. You know, that game's going to be won on the line of scrimmage, so we've been really emphasizing just making sure our fits are really precise, and we know what we got to do for each play.
What type of a role has Coach Barrett really played in the development that you've had throughout this season?
No, he's played a tremendous role with just my techniques and how to prepare the right way. I know I have tremendous guys in the linebacker room. That's helped me with that as well. Obviously, they learned that from Coach Drew as well coming in this program. So they've helped me implement his style into my game as well. But with his I want to be coach hard, and that's the style I want to be, and just being able to have him coach all these little details and stuff like that to make sure the time the game comes that you've seen everything, be able to play football.
So you would describe him as someone that coaches you guys hard and then is harping on the details all the time?
Absolutely, yeah. We're a details group, and that's kind of what we pride ourselves on, making sure everything's precise, and that's kind of how we grade ourselves through each week, and we just want to make sure that we do what we can, our 1/11 for the team.
I don't know how close you are with Hartzog off the field. Did you recognize in him, Malcolm, that he had a little something to you? I mean, both you guys are freshmen playing a lot. Do you see something in him that similar traits you can share? Did you feel early he was going to help out a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. Malcolm's a tremendous guy. He's a great person as well. Behind his football, great football ability, and just to see, you can see in his eyes when he's on the field that he's not going to back down to nobody. I love seeing. I can look to the left of him and I see him get right up on the man and pressing him. It kind of shows who he is and just how he's just not going to back down to a fight.
Are you looking forward to this different experience that'll happen on Friday, playing a rivalry game, doing it on the road in front of a hostile crowd?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Being a Nebraska kid, I'm watching these games throughout the years. It's different being a fan, but now being a player, it's definitely another opportunity for me to play in a rivalry game like this and see how it all feels out.
Their offense has kind of sputtered coming on strong in the last couple of weeks. What do you see on film that they've kind of progressed on throughout the year?
Iowa has a lot of really cool things that they do with their offense. They do a lot of things that can really mess with their eyes. At the end of the day, they might run a simple play, but they have a lot of different things moving with their offense. Just try to mess with their eyes and get you off in the wrong keys and stuff like that. So for us this week, it's been really important to trust our keys and know of our assignment, knowing what they're going to try to do with us. And their pass game is I think it's a really cool concept what they do with their boot game and how they use their tight ends. So with that, just being precise in our fits and knowing what we have to do each play.
Anything else for us?
What has Caleb Tanner taught you or brought to your game?
Caleb's been a great person to look after since I've been here. Coming early, seeing how he just works, from the weight room when I came in winter conditioning, and seeing how he carries himself on the field. Seeing a veteran like that and how physical he plays, and I can look down at our D-line, how physical they are and what they do each day. It's tremendous. All across the board, I look at our defense and how hard they work and how hard they prepare. You get a sense of confidence out there. When you look down, you see all those veterans out there that's been through all these things, and they're right there with me, guiding me along the journey.
How do you lock in this week, focus on Iowa, knowing about all the uncertainty and everything that's coming after that? What's the trick to staying in the moment?
It's pretty simple for us. It's just control what we can control. It's kind of been our motto throughout this whole year, really, because there's been a lot of uncertainty just right away when our coaching change happened. We kind of had to make a decision that we kind of have to block out the noise and what's going on the outside and just control what we can control and do what we have to do each week. Our preparation to change it all each week, no matter the circumstance with the result, even though we've been through some tough losses this year. And, we don't really know what's going to happen after the game, but we just can control and fight one last time.
How often are you asked about what you think is going to happen after the game and next week and so on and so forth?
Yeah, it's definitely something that you're asked throughout the team and stuff like that. You'd be lying to say it's not something that comes up, with discussing with other people and not just football players, but people outside of football in the program. But like I said, you just got to control your control, and you just got to do what you can do. We have a game on Friday, so all of attention is on Iowa, and we just got to do what we can do.
Some players, some teams may have given up by this point. What makes this team different?
It's just special. I think the leadership is number one. The leadership here on this team is just tremendous, and just how those guys have taken that role on this team and just passed it down to guys and just kind of spread throughout the team that, no matter the situation, that we're just going to fight no matter what. We're going to give it our all. We're going to prepare the right way. And then when it's game time, we play fearless out there. And, it's been tremendous to watch and be out there in the field with those guys because, you can look to your right and left and you're just playing for the brother right next to you. And, that's something that we've been stressing this whole year because, you know, sometimes it's tough out there sometimes with just what's going on, and just being able to look to the right and left of you pre-snap and know that those guys have done everything they can for this week. You just play with confidence.
Thank you, Ernest.
Thank you.
You're fed. That's one way to say it. Cook always makes fun of us at Valentino's Pizza. Make sure that we're happy.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations on being named Player of the Week. How's that feel?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, thank you very much. I think our team played 2 great matches this last weekend and put ourselves in an opportunity to play for this Big Ten championship this weekend, which is really cool, and we're really excited for this week.
You talked a little bit about Sunday too, but you have a couple more days to think about it too. I mean, what is your mood anticipation going into this Wisconsin match on Friday?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about being able to play for this Big Ten championship this weekend, and I think the entire team and staff are really excited for that opportunity. And after this last weekend, we put ourselves in that position because college volleyball was pretty crazy this last weekend with some teams not performing as well and hurting their chances at competing for that title. So I'm really proud of our team of bouncing back after that loss against Ohio State and playing 2 great matches. And yeah, I think we're really excited for this weekend.
Have you guys talked about the mental aspect of playing Wisconsin yet?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it in a lot of different fashions, and we're focusing on the things that we can do and the things that are really important to our team and what help us to play great volleyball regardless of who's on the other side of the net. And I think in the past times that we've played them, we haven't always been 100% on those things, and I think if our team can make a really great commitment to those for this upcoming weekend, then we're going to be able to perform really well.
Maddie, does it help to know that to win a Big Ten title is in your hands? You don't have to rely on other results really to at least clinch a share of the title?
Yeah, I think it's awesome, and I think ultimately, like we've kind of been talking about, it's like the position that we wanted to be in of having the opportunity to control our future and our destiny and potentially put ourselves in maybe a top 4 seed and winning that Big Ten. And yeah, I think we're just really excited.
John Cook said the team that wins the Big Ten should be a top 4 seed. Do you kind of agree with that?
Should be. We'll see, though. Sometimes they screw us a little bit with rankings, but we'll see.
What are the emotions like for you going into senior day is going to be that second match? What's it like for you going to your final week of the regular season in your senior year?
Yeah. I'm not really sure yet. I don't know if I've been able to think about those emotions yet because I'm a little bit scared for our team on how we're going to be that match day, because I think we have a very tight-knit group and we also have a very emotional group, and I think it's good that we kind of do the senior night recognition stuff after the match, so that we can all, that we can be done playing and then we can be upset or sad or happy or whatever.
Ask Nick one for advice since she's already been through this once.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I think she offers a lot of wisdom to our team in a lot of different ways, just being a leader, being a captain for a long time, being a starter for a long time, playing in 2 national championships. So I think we lean on her a lot.
A lot of teams like to build toward this part of this season. Do you feel like you guys are close to a finished project at this point, or are there still things you're trying to build up?
I think every single day we have an opportunity to get a little bit better. And we talk about each person doing their role just 1% better every single play and trying to focus on that. And Coach talks about being able to go to unstoppable at this time in the season. And I think if everyone can do that, I think we're on our way to being really good.
How have you seen your role evolve through this season?
Through this season? I think it's evolved a little bit because I have been in that 6th rotation outside hitter position for my entire career, but I think being a younger player, it was a lot different than being a captain and a leader this season. And I think Kenzie and Lexi and I have really been able to lean on each other and grow a lot as leaders and help our team with our different strengths and sometimes weaknesses and help each other kind of round out our team. And I think that's been a really cool progression to see throughout the season.
Now, you guys have settled into some pretty consistent rotations now, but that wasn't the case earlier in the year. How was your production able to remain pretty consistent despite the different lineups that you guys were using early in the year?
Yeah, I think early in the season, Coach likes to challenge us and really push us, and he wants to see us compete for those positions, and I think you see that when he puts out a lot of different rosters. That's kind of a product of him doing that and pushing us, and he still does that in practice, which I think helps us to keep getting better throughout the season, and something that's a really big strength of our program. And I think, like I said, we just really focus on trying to do our role really well, regardless of who's out there on the court. And we all play next to each other every single day in practice, so it's nothing that's out of the ordinary. And yeah.
As a hitter, how challenging was it? I mean, you've had 3 different setters consistently give you balls throughout the year.
Yeah, they all set a little bit different, but they all are trained the same, and so they do a great job of putting up hittable balls for our offense. And yeah, each of them have their strengths, and they help us to win, which is great.
Maddie, how beneficial is it to have 2 big matches to close out the regular season, to kind of get you prepared for the big matches that lie ahead in the postseason?
Yeah, I think we talk a lot about how the Big Ten, you play great teams night in and night out, and this weekend is just another example of that, of 2 great teams that we're going to get the opportunity to play. And I think it's definitely a positive for us to be able to play those 2 tough teams before we head into the tournament.
You called, I think on Instagram, you said that was your last Iowa City road trip. Is this going to be your only senior night this week that you celebrate?
Yes, I think I will not be returning after the season, and I think it's been great. I've talked a lot about this with Coach and with our teammates and staff, and I think it's been an awesome 4 years that I've got to compete here, and I've absolutely loved my career, and I'm really excited for our younger players to get the opportunity to be leaders in the program, and just encourage them and mentor them this season has been really great, and yeah, I'm excited for the future.
What have been some of your favorite memories of the Husker?
I think my favorite memories are just the big matches that we play at home when Devaney is super loud and crazy. Like in the Purdue match on Sunday when we had that 45, 50-second rally and we win the rally and like the whole Devaney just erupts and we're just like so out of breath, but we're just like clinging on to each other and it just like, yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things is just being able to compete in that environment with my teammates and getting to be successful with them. Someone's excited.
All right, with that, we can move on to Kenzie Knuckles now.
Thanks, guys.
Kenzie, what's your mentality going into the Wisconsin match, knowing the Big Ten titles possibility, gearing up for that chance?
Yeah, I would say our mentality is playing the game like it's any other game and to kind of just leave it out on the court. I mean, at this point, it's like we're competing for a Big Ten championship and it's Wisconsin, Nebraska again. So, you know what I mean? So it's just like playing it like it's every other game and sticking to Nebraska volleyball and playing our ways, and I think that'll be helpful.
What do you have to do differently this time as opposed to what happened last time?
Yeah, I think that something that will really help is playing Nebraska volleyball. We say that a lot, but we train our ways, and sometimes when you play big teams, you can kind of conform to the way they play volleyball, and when we play Nebraska volleyball, that's when we play our best. So just really focusing on ourselves, focusing on next ball mentality, and not letting them get on runs.
Kenzie, how has everything the team has gone through this season kind of prepared you guys for this big last moment in the regular season?
Yeah, I think it's prepared us a bunch just because we work really hard on our volleyball skills, but we work really hard on things outside of volleyball and the things that we can control more consistently. And after almost every game, we have meetings talking about how that game went, what we did good, things that we think that could improve, and things like that. And I think just everything that we've been through this season, the ups and downs of everything, just leaving it out on the court this weekend, and it's going to be so much fun. And I think that's honestly what we're looking into, is just how much fun it's going to be able to play 2 really good teams.
a lot of teams build to this part of the season, want to be playing their best, but do you ever feel like you truly are a finished product? Like that actually ever happens?
I think yes and no. I think that you always have room to grow, and I think that our team continues to amaze me every step that we take throughout the season of just how much better we get. I would say halfway through the season, I was like, dang, we're pretty good. Like, we're top notch right here, and we just continue to get better and better. So, yeah, I think that we continue to grow every single day.
Maddie's played almost every rally the last 4 years. What has she meant to this program, and what have you seen the growth from her or from year to year to where she is now?
So much growth. Maddie and I came in here 4.5 years ago, and I remember being a freshman like it was yesterday, and just her personality too. She will always be goofy Maddie to me. She's my best friend, but she has taken on a leadership role and has gained so much respect from this program and all of our teammates, and she's done that by leading by example on the court, but she's also done that off of the court and all the relationships that she's built, and yeah, I'm really proud of her for that.
About your own journey and kind of the different roles that you've taken on over the last 4 years?
Yeah. I would say that for me, it's all the relationships that I built as well. I think that's something that's really, really important to me, and I love volleyball. I really do, and I'm most thankful for it because of all the relationships that it's built me along the way. And yeah, but I know that the relationships I built are going to last me a lifetime, so it's bittersweet, but.
Is there any extra motivation to want to beat Wisconsin, given all the teams you've beaten in your career? But
yeah, I can't lie. I mean, we haven't beat them yet. I have a good feeling about it, and I don't know. If we play our game, we play Nebraska Volleyball, we'll be fine.
How much better have you seen serving, this past few months, I guess?
Yeah.
And how important is that in this Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's really important. So we've worked a lot on serving. We work on it every single day at practice. We say it's the most important skill, and we've gotten a lot better at it from the beginning of season, and I think it's going to be really important because at the end of the day, whoever wins the serve and pass battle is set up for success.
Cook said the one thing that your class hasn't done yet is win that ring. I mean, how much does that motivate you to either win the Big Ten or get that national championship? How much is that motivating you?
It is really motivating, and I think the group of girls that we have at the same time, like our mindset is let's go out and have fun, like let's win together. And I think that that's very rare that you have that. I think sometimes you have a bunch of individuals that are like, oh, I want to win, I want the victory. But I think the group of girls that we have right now are just like, we keep telling each other, like, I want to win for you. And we just have such a tight-knit group. It's going to be so much fun, and I think that's motivating alone.
You haven't played back-to-back nights in almost 2 months. I mean, is that going to be a challenge for you, and how do you handle that?
Yeah. It's going to be a little bit different just because we've played a bunch of Friday, Sunday matches. But I think, I don't know, I think the adrenaline at that point is just kind of like we want to play. So playing back-to-back shouldn't be a problem.
Kenzie, we know you love playing at home, but can you anticipate what the atmosphere is going to be like? I mean, the fans know what's at stake. So what's that environment going to be like?
Oh, it's going to be crazy. I love, like you said, I love playing at home. Everyone's always like, there's 8,000 people there. Like, are you nervous? I'm like, no. It just feels like every single person there is rooting for us, and it's like a huge family. And at this point, I'm like desensitized. Like when I don't have them there, I'm like, what's going on? Like, where's my family? So I think it's going to be huge. I think we're all going to be super excited.
What have been some of your favorite memories as a Husker?
Good question. I feel like it changes based on the year. Like freshman year, I would have answered like going to Japan and China. Our international trip was so much fun. And sophomore year, I would say this seniors, like they were awesome. They led me so much. And the past couple years, I would say the relationships that I've built, I can't think of just one memory, but the group of girls that we have is something that's really special. And like I said before, like I love volleyball, but I love my people even more. And I think that's what makes volleyball so special. I have. I won't be returning. Yeah.
Was that a difficult decision to go through, knowing that was an option to come back?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a tough decision, but I met with Coach multiple times about it, and I have absolutely loved this program. It's like a family to me, and it's so hard saying goodbye to it, but I just think that after 4.5 years. I think that the time has come where it's like, you know, like me and Maddie, we got here together and we're going to leave together. And kind of what Maddie said too, just like passing the baton off a little bit. I think that we have so many players that are coming in and so many underclassmen right now that are in a position to lead, and they deserve that. And yeah, so I'm really excited for after this. But
does that help you, like knowing this is your last go around, not like let's make a great decision later? Does it help you focus on the here and now and the opportunity in front of you?
Yes, absolutely. Like every game that I go into, or honestly every ball that I touch, I'm just like, there's no point to regret anything. So I'm just gonna go out there and leave it all out there.
That first match against Wisconsin, passing kind of held you guys back a little bit. What approach or mentality do you need to have in this match?
Yeah, I would just say being aggressive is something that we talked about with passing against them, because they do have really good servers, and we know exactly what they're going to do. So it's honestly just the mentality of going in there and doing it and being aggressive with what we're doing.
Final question for Kenzie. You get a toss one of those little balls out. Have you thought about wanting to throw it yet?
I honestly think about it when I do have a ball. I think about it almost every time. I kind of like look around the court and I'm like, there's like a bunch of little girls standing there and it's super sweet. So I try to like mix it up.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.